Israel is doing everything within their ability to minimize the civilian suffering, the civilian casualty. And this is why I recommended isolating civilians from Hamas terrorists. Because Hamas, they are not in uniform. Hamas is simply dressed up like civilians. They are mixed with civilians. When people go to the aid centers, Hamas is shooting at them, is shooting at the aid center staffers.
Is Israel starving the people in Gaza, and why is the war taking so long? Check out this clip over here with Chris Cuomo talking to Mossab Hassan Youssef, the so-called son of Hamas, because his father was one of the founding members of Hamas, and he defected from Hamas and converted to Christianity, and now spends his time fighting against Hamas and like causes. So let's listen to hear what he has to say, and then we'll talk about it together. But first, hit that subscribe button over there in the corner. We'd love to stay in touch. Check this out.
Perspective from someone I value very highly and I have missed, the son of a founding member of Hamas, who flipped to secretly work with Israel's intelligence services, Mossab Hassan Youssef, better known as the Green Prince. Hello, my friend. I've missed you. It's good to see you.
Hi, Chris. Good to see you as well.
So I give you this proposition. It has gone on too long, and there is too much suffering, and Israel has not done enough to stop it. So America must withdraw its aid until Israel does better to stop the starvation in Gaza. Is that a righteous position?
No, not at all. It's Israel is doing everything within their ability to minimize the civilian suffering, the civilian casualty, exposing their military plans to make sure that civilians would evacuate. While Hamas terrorists have been weaponizing civilians. We said this from day one, and this is why I recommended isolating civilians from Hamas terrorists. Because Hamas, they are not in uniform. Hamas is simply dressed up like civilians. They are mixed with civilians. When people go to the aid centers, Hamas is shooting at them, is shooting at the aid center staffers. Worse than this, Hamas has been smuggling weapons, explosives, and other military equipment using the aid trucks. I saw that with my own eyes. I have been to Gaza multiple times since the beginning of the war. And I've been to the centers where Israel scans thousands of trucks going into Gaza. Each item is a suspicious item that it could have some military equipment that could prolong the war in Gaza. And Israel does not want this to continue. Now, what we are witnessing, Chris, we are witnessing a collapse of society. This is not a famine. This is not a genocide. Genocide and famine require, or starvation of the population of Gaza requires intent. Israel does not have the intention to starve the people of Gaza. It's madness to think this way because this would backfire and the world would condemn Hamas, condemn Israel.
But that's exactly,
so obviously
that's
no
what's happening.
Intelligent. Yes, but
that's what's happening right now, because you have all these aid organizations saying that almost 4 in 10 Gazans are going days without eating, that we're on the verge of a catastrophe. You see all the images of the kids with the pots. This could be different. We could have a flood of aid going in there, regardless of whatever Hamas is going to do with it, and that this is a major reason why sentiment in America and elsewhere in the world has moved against Israel. If for that reason alone, why not remedy the situation and make it clear that nobody has to hold out a bucket to get food in Gaza?
Well, the Palestinian sympathizers, or in other words to say the anti-Israeli camp worldwide, had they condemned Hamas from day one instead of being focused on demonizing Israel and, in fact, dehumanizing the Jewish people, had they condemned Hamas from the beginning we would have not been in this difficult situation. The ongoing crisis in Gaza is the responsibility of Hamas. And people choose to see it differently. You know, they want to save the starving children on one hand, but on the other hand, they don't want to condemn Hamas. Well, how can we do this? Hamas' major weapon in this war is civilian and sacrificing children for global sympathy. This has been their game. And we are giving them the opportunity to continue in this madness. If we want to see the crisis ending anytime soon, then we must take this card from Hamas and condemn them. We must be united now. Republicans, Democrats, all type of people, all humanity must get united to condemn terrorist group that has hijacked an entire society, weaponize it to achieve religious and political goals.
I understand that, but my friend, I think President Trump, here words you're not going to hear me say too often, I think he seems to have this right in this moment. He says Hamas has to surrender. They have to give back the people they stole. There's too much deprivation in Gaza. Israel has to find a way with the allies to let in a lot more aid. Why can't those two ideas go together? Hamas has to surrender. It's a terroristic group that has said it will seek to destroy Israel as soon as it can. So they can't stay in power. They must give back the people. And this area must be flooded with aid yesterday. Why can't those two things go together?
Well, the area has been flooded with aid, but we have a problem with distribution because Hamas is shooting at people who take aid from the United States and Israel. Basically, Hamas is telling the world that we are the only legitimate authority in Gaza, and any third party that is trying to help the Gazans in this crisis is illegitimate. And this is how Hamas is trying to pressure the global community to keep them in power. Hamas is running out of time. They have lost many of their cards. What they have now is the hostages and the Gaza civilians, and they have been manipulating this entire situation. So, okay, we can blame Israel for the crisis, never condemn Hamas, and expect from the crisis to end tomorrow. It won't. It will continue for years. You know, Hamas in the past kept the Israeli hostage Gilad Shalit for 5 years, and Hamas is willing to use the Gazan civilians for the next years. They don't care how many people would die. They don't care if the entire hostages died. They just want to stay in power, and this has been their goal. And we are basically helping them to stay in power and indirectly keeping the war going for eternity.
Mossab, I appreciate your perspective, especially by someone who has insanely gone back and been on the ground in Gaza. And I say it that way. I wish I could go, but I don't have everybody in Hamas looking to kill me the way you do. So it's very brave to go there, but I appreciate the fruit of your observations and your understanding. Thank you for joining me here. I also want to remind people, the Green Prince has a new book, The Last Prophet. Okay? It's on sale right now. His name, Mossab Hassan Youssef. To me, he is my friend. To you, he is the Green Prince. Thank you for being with me, and please stay safe.
So then why is the war taking a year and a half long? Because they're being put in an impossible situation where they're trying as hard as humanly possible to not kill any civilians in a very urban area where terrorists purposely put themselves into the civilian areas. Even with this whole food distribution, it's the terrorists go and they cause as much chaos and wreak as much havoc as possible, shooting firearms into the air, making people nervous and running and bringing chaos and confusion to the situation. And that has led, unfortunately, to some terrible results. but it's the terrorists embedding themselves among the civilian populace that is the root of the problem. If Israel wanted to just genocide the whole Gaza, this war would have been over in about a week after October 7th. The superiority of Israeli forces over Hamas is they're incomparable. The reason that it's taking so long is because Israel is trying to be so careful in only going after terrorists, not getting any civilians involved, which is very, very difficult in a densely populated area where the terrorists purposely will embed themselves. And then go cry to a very willing, open Western media that Israel is killing civilians every time one civilian is killed. My wife and I follow the different hostage deals that have been coming through the pipeline over the past year and a half. And there's a deal and Hamas backs out, and there's another deal and Hamas backs out. Hamas has no reason to make a deal. The hostages are literally the only valuable thing that they have at this point in time. There's no reason to make a deal. They don't care about their own civilians. They don't want this war to stop. They have all the international organizations and international media on their side. This is how they're fighting their war. They want to prolong this thing as much as possible. There's no reason for them to stop. They need to be forced out, leave in disgrace. They're not doing that. There's no way that they can fight back in Israel. The only thing that they have is willing international organizations and international media. And until people wake up and realize that this war is going to keep continuing on and on, all the talk, and it's going to keep going, guys. Nevertheless, we can and should continue praying that this war ends very soon, that Hamas surrenders, goes into exile, releases all the hostages, and that we can start rebuilding in a good and peaceful, lasting future for everyone in the region. If you like this content overall, hit that subscribe button over there in the corner. We'd love to stay in touch. Take care.